Greetings, everyone. It is Friday the 13th for May 2016, and today is 5 years since the spider demon has come to this reality, dimension, this plane of existence. Call it whatever the fuck you want. The gates were open. He come forth. He come forth. God, I'm tired. I'm fucking tired. And it's funny that I didn't think this would happen, because I figured leap year would throw everything off, but it did not. But everything lined up exactly to the day. The question is, what's going to happen today is the question. I'm tired, forgive me. Daylight's in a couple more hours, and I'm dreading it. Of course, my significant other is telling me to, stop worrying about it. And, it can't be undone. Don't worry about it. It's been 5 years of bloodshed, demon attacks, supernatural creatures appearing out of nowhere. I'm supposed to just let that go and forget about it. I'm sorry I'm not as strong as you, my love, but I'm not as cold either. I mean, I'm too emotional. Well, duh, because I'm super empathic. But I'm just not. I just can't turn my emotions off just like that. I mean, it's been 5 years. And the day that he revealed himself to me, not the actual summoning day, but the day he appeared to me, is when everything changed. Now, this was after my third spiritual awakening, which took place in 2010, possibly 2009, I can't remember. And I had taken a spell from the Necronomicon, the Simon edition, and I tried to summon something to protect the woman I love, and it completely backfired. And you've heard this story many times. Now, this could have happened in early May, possibly even April. I don't know. The records for that are gone. But I do remember, from what I do have saved, because there was a week from this day to the note I wrote, or I should say story, because I disguised it as a story. There was 1 week in between Friday the 13th and in May something. So basically 2 Mondays from now. Well, that's not right. So this Friday to next Friday, then add Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Because it was a Monday when I was told as to what happened. Believe it or not, I don't care. That's up to you. I'm not going to make you. But this is from my point of view. And the creatures I've experienced and encountered do exist. But, mainly the dragons. And it started out like any normal Friday. Then as time wore on during the day, I didn't notice it, and it wasn't obvious like it is now. But around 3, 4 o'clock, back then, I used to have the doors and windows open when there was a nice strong breeze, and my grandmother was okay with it, because this is when I was taking care of her. And the house across the street, 1917 South Gladstone Avenue, had been empty for a year. A nice family that lived there mysteriously packed and moved. I say that because their father just disappeared. And then in between that time, I did the ritual to protect the woman I love, and of course, the one I was protecting her from was at it, so it didn't work. Then that's when I later found out why. But I saw a guy about 6 feet, lanky, and this is my first time seeing an actual shadow person. I had been seeing shadow orbs a year or so prior, but this shadow was different. He had a white male face, but a shadowy black body. I could not make his face out. Like this Halloween skull, but blurry. Not as clear as the skull there. It was blurry. And he was doing in the form of jesters, you know, the king's jesters and stuff, juggling and all that, dancing, merriment, doing everything in his power to get me to go over there. He wouldn't cross the street. No. He would stay right there at the end of the driveway, at the edge of the driveway where the street meets, but he wouldn't step one line over it. and he was doing everything in his power to get me to go over there. And then these two kids walked by. They walked by like he wasn't even there. And that freaked me out. Of course, at the time, this was new to me, so... And I survived Ghost Hunts Gone Bad. And even then, that didn't freak me out. But this did. They walked by him like he wasn't even there. And then he kind of disappeared out of my sight for a little while. As time wore on, I distinctly remember watching the Chiller channel, and they were playing the 1980s Twilight Zone, and the Toys of Caliban episode came on. And to take my mind off of that, because I was still freaked out by then, this was around like 5 o'clock, I went to go make my grandmother her dinner. Because like I said, I was taking care of her. And the microwave, which was working just fine a couple hours ago, had just mysteriously died. It went kaput. No rhyme or reason, it just died. And it worked a couple of hours before that. So I called my aunt, and they immediately bought a new microwave, brought it on over, because, you know, my grandmother needed to eat, and at the time, her illness was only to selective foods, and at that time, it was TV dinners. And, and he was still gone. I had told my dragon friends, and they said stay put, they'll check it out. And as night wore on, I went outside, and the air was a little weird. And I don't know how to describe it, but it was calm, but noisy at the same time. Like, in this one area that I was in, it was quiet. Kind of like a bubble. And I went back inside, and night fell, and then I waited for word. Well, like I said, a week went by. No word. And then Saturday, still no word. Sunday, no word. Then Monday, I get word that the woman I love, who does most of my protecting, because she's taken it upon herself to be the righteousness of the world, to vanquish evil, be it supernatural, demonic, mystical, mythical, whatever. Taken it upon herself. And I learned that she got involved, and a bunch of the there was like a bunch. I want to say like there was like eight companion dragons. And like 6 of them had perished by this beast. This shadowy beast. and ended up hurting the bigger dragons. Oh, you better believe I got a chewing out by the main group of little ones. You better believe that. And I didn't know, because the only other alternative was to go to him, which is what he was wanting in the first place. He was wanting me to go there. Again, I would later find out why. And I looked at the date when I found it quite odd, because it fell on a Friday the 13th. Now, I've had trouble with this, trying to remember everything, because, again, 5 years have passed. Most of my records are gone. Because I stupidly kept them on my old cell phones. And either the batteries are destroyed, or the SIM cards are missing. Whatever you want to call it. And then I wrote a story. Speaking of this, I disguised this tale as a story. Because, you know, you want to tell the truth, hide it in plain sight. And little did I know that a year ago this day, or 5 years ago this day, would start my insomnia, would start my depression, and mainly my fear of abandonment, really. I know that sounds weird, but he has a strategy, and that's to, you know, get me by myself so he can, you know, so he can have me. And he can't do that with people standing in the way. Now, some of the little dragons, and she swears by it that they don't. Well, a lot of dragons do hate humans, and some are okay with them, and some, you know, a lot of them resented me for this, and I got chewed out for it. And I didn't even mean to. This wasn't part of the fucking plan. This wasn't, you know, the deal that I was trying to make. And I'm being told, you know, by the woman I love now, who's, like I said, made it her life's goal to end the blood feud with her being the victor, just as he is on his side trying to be the victor. Let me tell you something a little bit about her. She she doesn't express her emotions very well. I mean, she cares, but she doesn't show it. Very rarely does she show her emotions. And now she's like, forget about it. It can't be undone. Just let it go. Well, I'm sorry. I can't. Otherwise I would. I accepted the fact that it can't be undone. But that thing pretty much killed any animal, any creature, be it domestic or supernatural, because believe it or not, there's a lot of supernatural creatures that come around in the night. You'd be surprised. And so you'd be surprised. I mean, they're nothing dangerous or demonic or anything, just weird supernatural creatures that come in from the dark. You know, basically equivalent to badgers, possums, and just from the other side. So he mainly lived off of that. Thankfully, no humans or anything. At least not in this area. And this shadow demon, to this day, 5 years from now, or 5 years from then to now, and I still can't see his face when he comes to me. Of course, lately he's been taking on his true form, the spider, with gold markings on his arms and body, with an 11-pointed star on his back that changes. I think the highest that it goes up to is 21 points. And depending on the star transformation, depends on his transformation. But basic 11-pointed star. But yeah, the spider demon wasn't always like that. He was a tall, lanky shadow demon with a blurry face. A blurry human face. And then as time progressed, he absorbed more and more energy, which dictated his evolution, I guess you could say. If you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z, the Cell Saga with Cell, kind of like that. Like, you go from the insect cell to perfect cell, and then final perfect cell. Like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. kind of like that, but the only forms I've only see him in or in humanoid shape. And then when I do get a clear look at his face, he's wearing sunglasses. Because he likes to wear bright white colors when he likes to traverse in the daytime. Which, again, I don't know why that surprised me. I seen him in broad fucking daylight, so... when he was at his most simplest form. I mean, I still can't make out his face, but the sunglasses do come in clear, though. With his black hair and stuff. It's been 5 years. 5 years to the day. And yeah, I have a lot of regret. I have a lot of remorse too. I feel bad because he's a part of me. He has me in him. And this is why I tell people who ask me to teach them, which I've only taught one person. And this is why I don't teach magic on my channel. I just mainly vlog. One, I'm not a good teacher. Two, I had one student in my life, and this had been 2 years later, possibly half a year later, I don't know, who came to me and asked me to teach him. I gave him the PDF file, and I told her, study, study, and study. Don't rush. Take your time pronouncing the words correctly. But study, study, study. Of course, she didn't heed my word and fucked up and summoned something that went after summoned a dragon slayer demon, but which is odd because she didn't even know so I made no mention about dragons to her. But after that, I said no more. And I pretty much took a hiatus till October 2011. And even then, I kept it to mainly money spells. I did do a revenge spell on my aunt and uncle, who the same ones that brought the microwave. Because at the time, they wanted me to mess up. They wanted me to fuck up my life. They wanted to put my grandmother in a nursing home Why? So they can get this crap shack with a leaky roof, water stains you can clearly see. Of course, those have been there for years and years and years. Probably before I was even born. So they could get this house and sell it because they're greedy. They're about a 2 on the hey, we care about you scale. On a scale of 1 to 5, they're about a 2. They wanted me to fuck up, and I did fuck up. Of course, things have a different way of working out. And I'm still here. I'm the last one. Granted, I've taken in roommates, but family-wise, I'm the last one. And I will fight to keep this home. And what does this have to do with the spider demon? Because ironically, at this time, when he achieved his final form, he incidentally tried to summon Shub-Niggurath, the goat, the black goat of the forest. Of course, that was stopped, thankfully, because she gives birth to 1,000 demons. I don't know what he was planning on doing with her, but it wasn't good. Of course, I didn't know then, and I didn't know till I don't know how many videos ago, but I want to say earlier this year, I found out that my anger gives him energy. And I've been pretty shitty this last week. Of course, my rant video the other day, that didn't help. So when that little misfortune had fallen upon me, I was filled with such wrath against them that well, for one, I asked the wrong God. That, 2, I asked them to suffer the same thing that I suffered and am suffering, or did suffer. Financial issues, dementia. Why would I wish that upon them? Well, first of all, this is dormant, or it was dormant inside me, but it flows freely through him, because like I said, when I did this ritual, I did it in front of a mirror. It failed, yes. But he took more than my DNA. He took my mannerisms. He took all my hatred from being bullied as a kid to the family bullshit that I've endured. I'm basically the black sheep for no real reason. I've always been the black sheep of the family. Except for my grandmother, the one I took care of. Like to play favorites. And then she went one step further. Every time my aunt and uncle and my cousins, their kids came around, I was treated like a damn dirty dog. And then when they would leave or not around, you know, I was treated nicely. I was bribed with stuff. Basically spoiled, yes. But it turns out it was all just bribes to shut me up. I had discovered when I was about in 6th, 7th grade that something wasn't right. And I just kept it inside me for years. And that's just part of the wrath that flows within him. I didn't ask for it. And the sad thing is, I have no real reason to hate them. I don't hate them. But treating me like I'm a freak, an outcast, a black sheep, you know, that's it puts a warped view on your childhood memories. Of course, it all came out when my grandmother got sick, and she just let the truth out. So all of that anger in me, and the anger to this day, this minute, goes from me to him. He has his own. Because he was already a pre-existing demon. His kind, his shadow demon kind. Because apparently there's a lot of different shadow type demons out there. His kind will kill each other for no real reason. If they're hungry, they'll kill one and eat it. Or just pure maniacal fun. It doesn't matter. So he has his own. And when he came forth from the mirror, and like I've always been saying, the mirror is your exact opposite. So I like to think I'm 50-50, but my mirror version is 100% opposite. Of what I'm trying to so desperately be. And he took that, along with a few other things, and it's all with him now. the psychic link between us, which ironically doesn't go both ways, because that would be too easy. But I didn't walk away alone, though. I did get some things out of the deal. In an ironic twist of fate, he has helped me with my magic casting. Tough love, in a manner of speaking, but he has helped me. Plus, I can sense when he's about to make a move in the air. Of course, final form, though. And even though he come through here in this house and decided to end up going across the street, making it his little den, he comes home from time to time. Back when, like I said, if I didn't mention this already, which I'm pretty sure I did, back in October, he came home again, as he so often does. I didn't know it till December, or not till November. But, of course, ironically, when he came back home, it's when the whole Uziel thing started. Coincidence? I think not. But it's been a hellacious and horrific 5 years, with many ups and many downs. And there's more to this story than what I've just given you. There's more intricate details of... goddamn people. It's like now is the time to, hey, upload a video, tell you about it. As I was saying, there's more to this story. I can't go over everything in 5 years. I can tell you major events, but I can't tell you all the little things. And some of the little things go up to the big things. Like when my possessing demon Athet left me, he conversed with a spider. And he asked him what he knew about dragons. Of course, Athet told him. And that just made it worse. So, I'm sorry I can't go over everything. If I had all my records, I would. But stupid me, I didn't make copies. Or write them down. And I always said I was. I was always going to write them down. But it never did. Ain't that some shit? Now, the phone I'm recording on is maybe my